taking you through the updated library module on Educare. So starting with the admin dashboard, here you'd be able to see the insight into everything that happens in the library module. For instance, you have the library usage, where you can see the usage of that's your students coming to the library to borrow books. So you're seeing the usage in the current month and previous months. You can also break down this usage by gender. You can see by male and also by student females. You can also see damaged books for the current month and the previous months. You can see the books if it's fiction or non-fictions. That's books borrowed in the library. So you have all this insight into things happening in the library. You can also see books that are overdue, that are yet to be returned. You can see the reviews given by students, those that have been approved. So I'm going to show you everything happening. Then also next we have on the same tab inventory. So this is giving you an idea of how students sees this book. So you have the all books category, you have the new arrival, you have all of this information. So I'm going to come back here and talk more on this part later on. So the first thing I want to show is the library setup. So this is where you can set up your library. So we have two classification type here. We have the Dewey Decimal System. This is a standardized library system whereby every single book is identified. So it is not being identified by just the ISBN, but also by the barcode. So every single book is taken account of. I'm going to show you an example. I'm going to open this in a new tab so you have an idea of what I'm trying to show. So if you notice, sorry, I'll come to all books. Every single book, you can see these books here are of the same ISBN from number 7 all the way to number 10. They are the same ISBN, but the way classification system identifies each of those books as if they are unique basically. But watch what happens when I switch this classification type to a school-based system. I'm going to switch this and save and come back to the other tab and refresh this page. You see what happens? So it identifies each book now by their ISBN basically, and I can see this book has just one stock. If I want to increase the stock number changes here. So that's basically the major difference between the Dewey classification system and the school-based system. Then also on the general setup, you have the new arrival. How do you want to indicate if a book is a new arrival? So by new arrival, what it does is, hold on, let me go back to this in a new tab. What new arrival does is when I come here, when like students or users come to where they can see all books for them to either borrow or read, they can see a category called new arrival. So when you indicate a book is a new arrival, it shows as a category here so that students or users can see those new arrival basically. So coming back here, I would be able to tell how do you want the system to identify books that are new arrival. If you set it to automatic, it means that when you are adding books, not adding a stock to an existing book, like adding an entirely new book, like a new ISBN, for instance, it's noted that that ISBN is not existing on the library before, so it's identified as a new book automatically, so you don't need to do anything. But if you set it to manual, it means when you are adding a new book, there's a button for you to toggle that this is a new book. When you toggle on that button, then it can let you know that okay, this is a new book. You can, it's once you indicate that is a new book, then it is reflected here in the categories. Why the automatic makes it reflect automatically. Then you can now set the duration that you can say this is a new book. So if I set this new arrival duration to be 14 days, it means that once I add a book to the system and it exceeds 14 days, that book can no longer be in that category for new books. So you can set the number of duration, be it days or months, a book can be considered new and can stay in that category of new books. Then also we have the summary approval. What summary approval does is users can give summaries to books. So let me just show you an example quickly. I'm going to open a tab from a student view. So this is a student book view. A student can add a review for a book. This is a review the student gave about this book. And once you give the review, you can either, the school admin can either indicate that once a review is given, do you want the review to show automatically on that book so that other users coming to see that book can see the review, or you want to approve the review given before it shows up for other users to see. So if this is turned on, summary approval, it means that you want to approve every review sent. But if it's turned off and you save, it means that once a user gives a review, automatically it goes to the review page for that particular book. So let me just give you an idea on how it works. What you're seeing here now is a review that this person has given for this book already, this student. So it also creates a thread that once a user gives a review and the librarian is not satisfied with the review, or wants the user to make some adjustments, you can have a thread on that particular review. The librarian rejects the review and tells the user to improve or give the user what they want basically, and the user make adjustment to the review and the librarian sees it and approves. So let me just show an example of what I'm going to give a new review. For instance, I'm going to select a random book, probably this one. And if I click on add review, this is where I can add my review. Once I add my review, I can give a rating, the number of stars I want to rate it, and I submit. Once I make the submission, it goes to the librarian, and the librarian can come to the manage review part of the system to either approve or reject. So this is an example of a review given. So the librarian can see this, see the review that was given, give a response. And if the librarian is not satisfied with your review, the librarian can reject this review so that you can work on it. After you've worked on it and make your correction on the review, the librarian can approve it. And once it is approved, automatically it is added to the review for that particular book. If you don't want to go through the whole process of approving review, and you want, once a user gives a review, automatically it goes to the book, then you don't need to turn on this summary approval. I hope this is clear. Then also we have library locations. So if you have multiple libraries in your school or where you work, what you can do is you can create those locations here. You can create multiple locations, and when you're adding books to the library, you can tie the books to a particular location. So you can quickly know the inventory in a particular location, or when you're giving out book, you know it is from this location. So that's basically what the location does. You can create different locations. So if you have different physical library in a particular institute, you can create those different locations here. Then we also have the library permission. So if you have multiple admins handling the library, you can restrict access to certain areas of the library. For instance, I can say I I don't want a particular library admin to be able to accept books to the library. So as long as your name is not on these users, you won't be able to perform any of these roles. For instance, if I want you to be able to say stock up books, I can edit and just search for the username I want to be able to perform that action. Once I search for the name, I'll select and update. So it means that the people that can add stock up to existing library books are the names I can see here. So I can add multiple names. And once I add you in a particular description, then you can perform that duty. If your name is not here, you cannot perform the duty. That's basically what this means. Then we also have the book category. So this is basically where you can create your different category of books that you're going to be adding to the library. So basically this is everything we have in the library setup. Then the next I'm going to be going to is the manage catalog. So manage catalog is basically where you can add books to the library. Before I do this, I'm going to switch this back to the Dewey Decimal System classification type. So going back to the manage catalog, so what you can do here, this is where you can view your existing catalog and you can add new catalog and you can also add bulk new catalog. For instance, I want to add a new book to the library. All I need to do is click on new book and it's going to ask you for entry mode. How do you want to add this new book? Do you want to add it manually where you need to fill out all of this information about the book? But there's an easier way to do this. You can add the book by the ISBN. So once you add by ISBN, you can just scan the ISBN number of the book and it puts the number here and it searches for the book online and also fetches all the information about that book. Let me look for the ISBN of a particular book we can use so we see how this works. So I'm going to look for Oliver Twist. So I'm going to search for Oliver Twist. Oliver Twist, ISBN. So I don't have any book in mind. If you have a physical book, you can just scan the barcode and it adds it to the software. But I just want to manually get an ISBN for a book so that you see how this works. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it here. So once I hit the enter button, it has fetched all the information about this book online. So you don't need to fill out all of this manually. So what do I need to do now? All I need to do is the number of available copies. How many copies of this book do I have in my library? If I have, all I do is, if I have, say, 9 copies, I enter 9. Once I enter this 9 and hit enter and click away, basically, you'd notice it generates 9 fields for you to enter the 9 barcodes of these books. So you only enter this if you already have an existing barcode for those books in your library. But if you do not, you don't need to worry. You can just leave this blank and just create, and the system automatically creates a unique barcode for those books that you can print and paste on the books. Then you can now say, do you want to mark this as a new arrival? Remember in the setup where I say you can either manually add a book as a new arrival or the system adds it automatically once you create this. So once you indicate is a new arrival, it means that users can see the book in the new arrival section. when they're checking the school library. Then, if you have an e-version of this book that you bought online, you have the option of also uploading the e-version so that you can also access the e-copy of this book on the platform. If not, you don't have it, you turn it off so that users can just borrow the physical version from your school library. So once you click on create, automatically the system creates the book in the library. So once I go back now, can you see the book? It has created 9 copies of this book. So in any case where you need to stock up on this book, it is straightforward. You receive new copies, probably 2 more copies of this book. All I need to do is click on this button here. You see this is receive books. So once I click on it, I want to stock up on the book. So I'm just going to say I received 2 new copies. I'm just going to enter 2 and click on add items. So if you notice, it has added 2 extra copies of the book. Then of course you can edit individual copy of the book. In this edit, you can basically decide to change the barcode of that particular copy of the book. Then you can also choose to delete as well. So this is basically how you can add catalog. Then if you want to bulk import books into your library, we have this option here where you can click on import book catalog. Then you click on the download sample. So this downloads the sample Excel template. So once you open the Excel template, of course, you can use this to just format basically the important field you need to fill on the Excel template is basically the library, the ISBN of the book. Once you fill in the ISBN of the template, it imports the book immediately into your library. Then basically that's everything I have to show on the manage catalog of the library. So the next I'm going to show is how to issue books, basically. So once I click on this, it shows you all the books currently loaned out on the platform. So you'll be able to see the books, who is the user that loaned the book, and every information about that book. And if they return the book, I can just click on this to accept the book, that this user has returned this book, and that is basically it. That book is marked returned. Another way to do this is, say I want to issue book to a particular user. So I can just come and do this by who borrowed the book. Is he a student or a staff? I can select student of what class. I can select a particular class and a particular student. So far for this student, this is the only book this student has borrowed in the library. If I want to loan out more books to the students, all I need to do is scan the barcode of the book that the student wants to borrow, and immediately the barcode shows here, and I just give it out. Let me do a real example. I'm going to copy a barcode so I can loan it out. So for this book, for instance, I'm going to copy this barcode and come back to this other tab. Once I paste the barcode here, and of course if you have a scanner, it works. Once you scan, the barcode shows here and you just check out. Oh, sorry, so I need to enter the due date that the student is meant to return this book. So this book is meant to be returned probably, I'm going to say the 27th. So once I click on checkout, if you notice, it has added the book here, Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. So this is basically how you can borrow books. So you can just, as you're scanning the barcode and checking out, it's adding the books here, basically. And if you want to accept books that the student is to return, all I need to do is either just click on this and click on return, and this book is going to be returned, or I can, if I want to indicate that this book is either missing or damaged by the students, all I need to do is highlight the book, click on the checkbox by the side of the book, and indicate that this book has been reported missing by the student, missing or damaged, and the system will ask me, is the book missing or is it damaged? So whichever one I select, you need to select, has the students or staff paid for this book that they misplaced or damaged? So if they've paid, you indicate paid. If they've not paid, you indicate not paid, and you update this. So you already know that these books, that particular book, has been deducted from the inventory because it has been registered as missing or damaged, and any book that is missing or damaged needs to be taken out of the inventory, but it also needs to be paid for by the person that misplaced or damaged it. And you have a section here where you can see books that has been missing or damaged, basically. So if the book has been paid for eventually, you can come here and indicate that this book has been paid for, and you just update it, and it goes out from this list. You can see it's indicated paid. And if I go back to the students that I issued that book from, sorry, oh, that was a student. I can't remember the class I selected. Okay, I think this is the student. You'll be able to see the past loans that you've given to the student. So these are the past loans. For this book I gave to the student, I can see he damaged it, but he has paid for it. For this particular book, it was also damaged, but it's not been paid for. So you can track every single book that a particular user has borrowed from the library, and the status of the book when it was returned back to the library. So also we have okay, I think I have touched on everything here. User dashboard is basically the view of the user, how they see the books. You can see the new arrival, the Oliver Twist I just added, and also this. Then you also have the manage review. This is where the librarian can come to see every review that has been submitted. So if on your setup you indicated that you want to be able to approve every single book and review sent in by users, this is where you come to manage it, see the review, either approve or reject it. But if you do not, if you didn't indicate that you want to approve or manage the reviews given, then you don't need to come here. It is done, it is added to the book automatically. So let me go to this user dashboard and select a particular book. And in this book, you'll be able to see the rating and the different users that's given review for this book. So in a nutshell, this is what we have on the library module, and I hope this helps when you want to use it. Thank you.